I am Ajay Minocha and I am coming to you in my new avatar. Welcome to Apan Hyderabady. Apan Hyderabady? Why? What? This is a series of those celebrities who have done Hyderabad proud with their human services and the way they have exemplified by showing their example to many others across the globe and of course in India. My first guest is Mr. PR Mansingh. He is a legend who is larger than life, and he was the manager of the 1983 World Cup team. There's so much that he has done, and I will take you through what he has exactly done during the course of my interview. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Ajay. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mansingh sir, can you tell us a little bit about your education background and when is it that you first moved to Hyderabad?
Well, my forefathers belonged to Punjab, and my father had all his education and everything in Lahore. I was born and brought up in Hyderabad, and I had all my education here. I first studied in Bularam High School in Bularam. Then subsequently I did intermediate from Mehboob College, which is now Hyderabad College of Science and Arts, and then the engineering college. That is my educational background. After I completed my engineering, I went to Manchester for a postgraduate diploma course.
Sir, now I would like to ask you a question which is more to do with your two loves, liquor and cricket. How is it that you have been balancing this in those years when you were so young, and which one did you give priority, or was it a tightrope balancing act?
While I was young, say in 1954, then the Indian government, which had taken over after independence, nationalized the canteens, and they took over all those, or rather sacked all those contractors from their duties, and that brought a big shock to my family, my father. And you see, the advantage that my father had at that particular time was that during the Razakar times, he had catered to the Indian Army, first in Hyderabad, giving him the credit of all that services. Then the state government of Hyderabad gave him a liquor selling license, wholesale and retail. While I was in school, a bit in college, I used to play cricket, participating in the B Division League Championship conducted by the Hyderabad Cricket Association. Subsequently, I started playing in the A Division for Osmania University, and I also represented Osmania University in the All India Inter-University Tournament, the Roynton Bida Trophy. While I was studying and playing cricket, I also had ambitions of going abroad for my higher education, and I requested my dad to send me off, which he did, and I had a very successful diploma course in Manchester. While in Manchester, I met Mr. Jeffrey Howard, who was then the secretary of Lancashire County Cricket Club, under the influence and contact of Mr. Ghulam Ahmed. Jeffrey put me on to a club to play the league cricket, and while I was there, I started playing good cricket. I went to the Alf Gower's coaching school for a while, and on return from England, I tried to get a job in any of the industries, and I found that there was not enough response. That was the time when my father suggested that instead of my looking for some small jobs, that he should join him in the business. And that's how I got into the liquor business.
My next question to you, sir, is you have always been a cricketing guy during your young age, and you made a switch to the so-called administrative zone. What influenced you to make this switch? Was it any particular individual, or it was your own personal choice?
While playing cricket, I had contacts with Mr. Ghulam Ahmed as a representative of Osmania University, and his action or interaction with me was such that I impressed him a lot as an administrator. So while I was playing, I played for Hyderabad in the Ranji Trophy, but most of the time I was only in the reserves. So one day Ghulam Sahab called me and said, "Mia, रणजी ट्रॉफी वगैरह छोड़ो, तुम्हारे में एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर का मादा है, क्रिकेट की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करो." And then when the time approached, he got me elected as the honorary joint secretary of Hyderabad Cricket Association. That was the beginning of my stint as a cricket administrator.
Mansingh sir, now that you have told us about what you have done in the 60 to 70 era, I am now taking you to the 70 to 80 period, and I am going to specifically ask you, sir, Morarji Desai was the Prime Minister of our country between 77 to 79, and in 1978 you went to Pakistan as a manager of the cricket team. What were the relations with Pakistan at that time, and how was your experience in Pakistan?
See, by 1970, I had spent almost 6 or 7 years in cricket administration, which brought me in contact with a lot of cricketers, administrators, and bureaucrats and all that. And then, when Morarji Bhai was the Prime Minister, he was very keen to develop good relations with Pakistan. And to that extent, somebody must have told him that cricket would be the best way of extending each other's goodwill. So the BCCI at that time spoke to PCB, that is, Ghulam Ahmed was the secretary here and Abdul Hafiz Kardar from Pakistan, both of them who had played against each other and knew each other very well. So they just corresponded with each other and expressed a view that why not we revive the India-Pakistan series, which had been kept away for almost 10 or 15 years. And with the help and coordination of Morarji Bhai, the teams, the boards of both the teams agreed for a short tour. While the Indian team was getting ready, the thing came up as to who should be the manager of the side. And since Morarji Bhai was involved, and that means that it was more a political issue than anything else. And there were 3 MPs, Maharaja Baroda, NKP Salve, and BC Mahanti, who were members of the parliament and were head of the cricketing institutions in the respective state. Maharaja Baroda had himself played a lot of cricket, almost missed playing for India, and since he was from Baroda, which was very close border of Pakistan, it was felt that he will be a great diplomat. So he was made the manager of the Indian team to tour Pakistan in 1978. And I understand that he had made a request to BCCI that I should accompany him as an assistant manager. At the end of the tour, our ambassador in Pakistan, Mr. Bajpai, gave a very comprehensive and good report of the Indian team's visit and the goodwill that had been generated. Probably he would have mentioned about my functioning while I was there as assistant manager in Pakistan, and Government of India requested or directed BCCI to make me the liaison manager of the Pakistan team for the whole tour of 79-80. And I had the biggest advantage there that Asif Iqbal was the captain of the Pakistan team. Asif and I had played together for Usmania University. That made my things with the team very easy. I had absolutely no problems with the team members. I developed a lot of goodwill with them. A few cricketers become very close to me, like Wasim Raja, Taslim Arif, Sikandar Butt, and all those gentlemen. And I really enjoyed my job as liaison manager of the Pakistan team.
Thank you, sir. My next question to you, sir, is we are in Fateh Maidan. During the time you are speaking of, the Moinudullah cricket tournament was one of its kind, really. A lot of cricketers who went with you subsequently for the 1983 World Cup, they played Moinudullah.
Well, you see, Moinudullah Gold Cup Invitation Tournament had its own history and legacy. Though it is not very well recorded or what, it is said that the first tournament of Moinudullah was played in 1912. Subsequently, another Nawab Bahramudullah of Hyderabad, he started a tournament as Bahramudullah tournament, where he invited players and teams from within the country and had the tournament in Hyderabad. And Nawab Moinudullah fielded one of his teams in that tournament. Nawab Moinudullah felt that that tournament was such a great attraction for cricket in India. Since Ranji Trophy was not there, there was no other interstate or international matches. So he started this tournament, and the biggest advantage with Nawab Moinudullah was he was financially or otherwise better off than Bahramudullah. And then Moinudullah started this tournament in 1927, and when the Indian team to go to England was selected 32, the players were selected out of their performance in the Moinudullah tournament. And every year the tournament was being played, and then people like Maharaja of Vijayanagaram and Patiala, they started inviting players from abroad. But more cricket was being played in the country, which gave opportunity to the players to travel and play cricket. And afterwards, during the Second World War, Moinudullah tournament was stopped. It was being played only as a local tournament, where teams were selected on the basis of the residence of the player. Hyderabad, Secunderabad, colleges, schools, rest. They were the 5 teams that would play, and after the tournament, with the performance, the Hyderabad team would be selected for Ranji Trophy. There were more cricket, Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy, Irani Cup, and then these international tours were becoming more frequent. So Moinudullah just lost its thing. It's sad, but Moinudullah, I would say in a way, was the stepping stone for anybody to play for India.
Man Sahab, your yesteryear memories are so fascinating that I can't tell you how delighted I am. Now viewers, we are coming to the best part of this interview as far as what you would like to know. Sir, during that time I read somewhere that managers of cricket teams were called as BCCI agents. You have always been an upright guy all throughout your life. How did you land the job of a manager of the 1983 erstwhile cricket team?
when we talk about the World Cup, I would like to give a little bit of a background to the World Cup itself. You see, in the late 50s and early 60s, cricket in England were sort of made to understand or dig their brains to get back the spectators to watch cricket. The quantity of spectators watching cricket was reducing. Obviously, there were financial problems, and that is when the England board came with the idea of having a limited over tournament. So in 1963, they had this limited overs cricket named or sponsored by Gillette razors. That's how this ODI system started. And those days, the international cricket was confined only to test matches. And it was found that to have a World Cup with all the test playing countries, it will be very difficult, not economical, and it will take a long time because each test will be a 5 days affair. So they just kept quiet and they were toying with the idea, and when the Gillette Cups caught up and it became a big affair in England, that was the beginning of the various members of the ICC to think in terms of a World Cup with limited overs. And since it was going to be in England and the days are much longer, the innings of each team would be 60 overs. So before the 83 World Cup, ICC said we'll have 8 teams and we'll divide the 8 teams into 2 groups, and within the group each other will play twice. That's how it all started in the 83 World Cup. Now about my becoming the manager, you see, those days BCCI would appoint a manager of the Indian team which would go abroad, and then mostly there were association secretaries or a few cricketers of repute and all that sort of a thing. And then going to, say, on a tour to England of an Indian team which had only a background of having been employed by the Maharajas and the Nawabs. They had no jobs of their own. Their thinking and functioning or doing all that was rather limited. When they went to England, it was like prisoners being left out of the jail. So when it came to 83, there were 2 tours on. One Indian team was going to West Indies and the other was 83 World Cup. And the bigwigs of BCCI said, Apan Singh and Mansingh, one of them will take each. So I called up Apan Singh and said, Chotu, this is what it is. I give you the choice where you'd like to go. Then he said, oh, you've been to West Indies, I'll go to West Indies. I said, fine. At that point of time, I was a little disappointed. In the sense, World Cup was no attraction at all. And nobody would talk about doing well in the World Cup or winning the World Cup. And this kind of an attitude and approach was everywhere, including BCCI. Normally, when an Indian team goes abroad, BCCI would hold a farewell dinner. There was nothing like that. Nobody came to see us off. And in fact, when we went to the airport to check in, Air India charged us excess baggage. All that thing, and there was no build-up at all. I think that was one of big factor in favor of the performance of the Indian team, because they were not answerable to anybody. They were not being questioned about by anybody, and then there were no pressures. But within the team, hearts of hearts, there was little build-up. Arey yaar, kuch karna chahiye. And that was because when the Indian team went to West Indies earlier, they played a one-day game in Berbice Berbice is a small town outside Guyana, and I will be happy to mention that first thing that when I went to Berbice I saw was Bank of Baroda. So that gave me an impression of a bigger Indian-oriented population there. So, but that, and India won that match. And then we had this long program, a particular day, meeting the Queen. Now, when we were to meet the Queen, a representative from Buckingham Palace called all the managers of the teams and said, you see, when you come before the Queen, she'll put her hand out. You just touch it. You don't hold it. That will be the thing, and then you go back. So I briefed my players, this is what it is. Somebody made some joke, and that was the point when somebody told Srikanth. Srikanth had this bad habit of blinking. Said, don't blink before the Queen, otherwise they'll put you in the jail. So all those things went on and we had good fun and said, well, why not we have a team meeting in the bus? Because it's another 1 hour's drive. Now everybody is awake after their nap. And instead of going to the hotel, checking in, then rushing for dinner, then having a meeting and all that, it will be more tiring and we have to play the next day. So Kapil agreed that we have a team meeting in the bus. That's the first time ever a team had an official or serious team meeting in a bus.
Sir, till now we have spoken in English, लेकिन क्योंकि ये चैनल का नाम है अपन हैदराबादी, तो अपन अभी हैदराबादी या हिंदी में बात करेंगे. सो मैं आपको इंडिया जिम्बाब्वे मैच के बारे में कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछूंगा, एक के बाद एक ब्रीफ आंसर्स दीजिए. पहला क्वेश्चन, नॉट रिलेटेड टू इंडिया जिम्बाब्वे बट इन जनरल, सिर्फ आप और कपिल बिलीव करते थे कि हम शायद वर्ल्ड कप जीतेंगे, तो ये बिलीफ जो था दोनों में, ये कब स्टार्ट हुआ और ये कब सॉलिडिफाई होने लगा?
ये मैं एक तरह से मैं बताऊंगा, कपिल में और मेरे में एक स्टेप का फ़र्क था. मेरे को ये कॉन्फिडेंस था कि ये टीम सेमीफाइनल्स में ज़रूर आएगी. जाने से पहले बॉम्बे में ऑल इंडिया रेडियो का इंटरव्यू हुआ, उन्होंने कहा कि भाई क्या है, कैसा रहेगा टीम. मैं कहा अगर ये टीम सेमीफाइनल्स में नहीं आई तो इंडिया की कोई टीम नहीं आएगी.
वाह.
लेकिन हार्ट्स ऑफ हार्ट कपिल में था, हालांकि वो ज़्यादा एक्सप्रेस नहीं करता था, कि भाई अगर हम ज़रा एफर्ट कर लें तो जीत सकते हैं. तो हम दोनों वो बस वो एक राउंड का फ़र्क था. और टीम मीटिंग्स में भी वगैरह इट्स वेरी फॉर्मल कि भाई हाँ अब क्या है, कल कितने बजे निकलेंगे, प्रैक्टिस कब करेंगे, क्या होएगा, अगर टॉस हुआ तो क्या करेंगे, बस ये सारी चीज़ें करके टीम मीटिंग ख़त्म हो जाती थी. लेकिन फिर बाद में वो जो एक चीज़ जो थी टीम में, वो ये था कि भाई रीजन वाइज छोटे छोटे ग्रुप्स थे और यू कैन नॉट सही मानों में यू कैन उसको अपोज भी नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि दे हैव बीन लिविंग टुगेदर ऑल दोज ईयर्स. एंड देयर वाज थोड़ा फ़र्क ये था कि भाई लैंग्वेज का था. वो पंजाबी वाले जो है उतनी ख़ास मराठी नहीं समझते थे, या मराठी वाले हिंदी नहीं समझते थे. जैसे एक किस्सा हुआ, मैं प्लेयर का नाम तो नहीं बताऊंगा, लेकिन वो चीज़ ये है कि भाई एक दिन मैच से पहले डाइनिंग टेबल पे बैठ के ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहे थे, तो वो एक प्लेयर आके अपनी जगह पे बैठा, वेट्रेस आके बोली, यस सर आई एम लेट. आप लेट नहीं हैं, आप बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक है. आई एम लेट. तो सब परेशान है, क्या बोल रहा है, आई एम लेट, सब दिन तो टाइम पे है. तो बाद में दूसरा सीनियर बोला ऑमलेट. तो ऐसी चीज़ें ये चलते रहती थी. तो वैसे हम दोनों में कोई ऐसा ख़ास फ़र्क नहीं था कि भाई हम अच्छा करेंगे. लेकिन वेस्ट इंडीज़ का पहला मैच जीतने के बाद ये एक चीज़ लगी थी, अरे यार अगर हम ज़रा और एफर्ट करें तो और कुछ हो सकता है। वो वहाँ से शुरू हुआ है।
17 for 5. कपिल देव एट द क्रीज, टॉप ऑर्डर गॉन. आपके स्टमक में क्या बटरफ्लाइज थे? क्या हालत थी आपकी?
हालत ये थी कि भाई वो मैच हम लंदन से निकल के हम ये टॉनब्रिज वेस्ट जाए थे। एक पॉलिसी थी कि टीम मीटिंग जो है मैनेजर के रूम में होगी, तो मेरे रूम में 15 लोग तो नहीं समा सकते थे। तो एक प्लेयर बड़े हंसते हंसते जाके टॉयलेट सीट पे बैठ गया, कोई कहीं बैठ गया। तो मजाक भी हो रहा था, कुछ भी हो रहा था, क्योंकि जब तक जो है हम 2 मैचेस हार चुके थे। ऑस्ट्रेलिया से हारे थे, वेस्ट इंडीज़ से हारे थे। तो एक तरह से ये मैच बहुत ही क्रूशल था। तो जब हम लंदन से निकल रहे थे तो वानखाड़े जो कि पुराने बीसीसीआई के प्रेसिडेंट थे, उन्होंने मेरे से कहा कि ईमान मैं मैच देखने आ रहा हूँ, मेरे लिए टिकट्स का इंतज़ाम कर देना। ठीक है, तो मैंने टिकट्स बुक करके वो टाइम के हिसाब से बाहर उनका इंतज़ार कर रहा हूँ, मैं उनका इंतज़ार कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ विकेटें गिर रही हैं। तो जब वो आए तो उनके साथ एक और साथी था, उसने कहा साहब देखो 17 for 5। तो उन्होंने कहा अरे टैक्सी रुक जाओ, शायद तुमको कुछ जल्दी जाना पड़ेगा। तो ला के उनको बिठा तो दिया मैं, लेकिन फिर भी वो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि वो एक्चुअली वो सिचुएशन में दे शुड हैव बीन एब्सोल्यूट पैनिक, वो नहीं था।
मेरा अगला सवाल, मंगूस बैट. कपिल देव ने कहा ड्रेसिंग रूम में कि यार 24 ओवर बाकी हैं, बहुत वक्त है, और वो फिर बाहर आया मंगूस बैट लेके.
जब ब्रेक हुआ, ब्रेक में कपिल ने कहा कि भाई अभी 26 ओवर हैं, कुछ भी हो सकता है, सब कुछ करना चाहिए, ये है। तो उसने बड़े सीरियस वे में यशपाल से कहा कि तलवार दो, मंगूस बैट में तलवार दो। तो उसने उसका बैट दे दिया। तब सबको ये लगा कि भाई वो बैट का था, वो तो कपिल की एबिलिटी थी। और आई विल नॉट हेसिटेट टू से कि भाई ऊपर वाले की मेहरबानी थी, क्योंकि क्रिकेट में ये है कि अगर आपको ब्रेक्स नहीं मिले तो आप आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते, आप चाहे कुछ भी कर लो। उस दिन ब्रेक्स मिल रहे थे, कपिल जो भी खेल रहा था लग रहा था, जो भी खेल रहा था, बस सवाल ये था कि दूसरे एंड पे कोई खड़े हो जाए। तो शुरू में रॉजर बिनी ने स्टैंड दिया, मदन लाल ने दिया, फिर बाद में किरमानी तो आखिर तक रह गया।
साहब अब आते हैं द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट, आपकी ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म 83. एक बहुत ही इमोशनल सीन है जहाँ पे पंकज त्रिपाठी हु प्लेज यू इज टेलिंग रणवीर हु प्लेज कपिल कि आज़ादी तो 35 साल पहले मिली थी, लेकिन सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट नहीं मिला. ये मतलब इसका बिल्डअप क्या था, आप बताइए.
नहीं, बिल्डअप तो था कि जब मैं गया वो लॉर्ड्स के मैनेजर के पास, मैंने कहा आपने जो मुझे पास दिया है सारे ग्राउंड्स का है, इसमें लॉर्ड्स नहीं है। तो उसने कहा कि भाई लॉर्ड्स इसलिए नहीं है कि तुम्हारा कोई मैच नहीं है लॉर्ड्स पे, अगर इत्तेफाकन तुम फाइनल्स में आओगे तो हम आपको ज़रूर दे देंगे। तो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि वो जो थोड़ा ब्लैक एंड वाइट का जो फ़र्क रहता है ना, वो आज भी है। हालांकि अगर देखा जाए पॉपुलेशन वाइज देखें, आई थिंक काले ज़्यादा हैं, गोरे कम हो रहे हैं। और पता नहीं अगले एज इट इज़ उनका प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी तो इंडियन ही है जी। तो माई ईगो वॉज हर्ट कि भाई आज जो है मैं इंडियन टीम का मैनेजर हूँ, काला हूँ या गोरा हूँ, जो भी हूँ, तो कोई भी इंटरनेशनल टीम के मैनेजर को जो इज़्ज़त देनी चाहिए वो मुझे नहीं मिली। तो वही ज़रा गर्मी में मैं आके कपिल को बोला कि भाई आज़ादी तो मिल गई है, इज़्ज़त नहीं है।
ऐसा लग रहा था कि पूरी इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम इनिशियली एक तफरी के लिए गई, यूएसए के लिए टिकट्स बुक थे और लंदन एक स्टॉप ओवर था, लेकिन सब कुछ चेंज हो गया और आपका इसमें बहुत बड़ा हाथ था। आप अपनी भूमिका को बिल्कुल 2 या 3 सेंटेंस में आप समेट के बोलिए कि आपने ऐसा क्या किया कि हम वर्ल्ड कप ही जीत गए।
नहीं, ये तो मैं नहीं कहूँगा कि मैंने क्या किया, ये तो पूरी टीम का था जो कुछ भी है।
लेकिन फिर भी आपने 7 सीनियर्स को एक डैशिंग कैप्टन के साथ जो ब्लेंड किया, उसका क्रेडिट मैं
तो
सिर्फ आपको दूंगा।
उसमें मैं एक चीज़ ये बताऊंगा कि मेरे जाने से पहले गुलाम साहब मेरे को बुला के बोले, मियाँ तुम मैनेजर बन के जा रहे हो, ये बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है, इंग्लैंड जा रहे हो, सब कुछ है, लेकिन एक चीज़ ये करना कि भाई टीम को एक फ्लॉक ऑफ शीप के जैसा नहीं ट्रीट करना, हर एक को इंडिविजुअली ट्रीट करना, और कोशिश ये करना कि भाई आप हर एक इंडिविजुअल के लाइक्स और डिसलाइक्स से वाकिफ़ हो। और सब में पहले ये कि भाई कोई गलती करे, आप उसको डांटना चाह रहे हैं तो उसको अलग अकेले में बुला के डांटना, टीम मीटिंग में नहीं डांटना, क्योंकि टीम मीटिंग में वो समझेगा कि उसकी बेइज्जती हुई है, और अगर आप अकेले में डांटोगे तो मानने को तैयार हो।
अब उस पहलू पे आते हैं जो मानसिंह द क्रिकेटर, मानसिंह द मैनेजर, लेकिन मानसिंह द ऑथर। ये आपकी पहली बुक क्रिकेट बिरयानी, इसके बारे में बताइए।
वो बात ऐसी हुई कि मोइनुद्दौला टूर्नामेंट के टाइम में बंगाल की टीम भी पार्टिसिपेट कर रही थी, और उनके साथ कुछ 4-5 करस्पॉन्डेंट्स भी आए थे। वो HCA ऑफिस में गए, जाके पूछे कि भाई ये मोइनुद्दौला टूर्नामेंट की हिस्ट्री क्या है, इसकी इतनी ज़्यादा लागत क्यों है, क्यों हर कोई खेलना चाहता है, क्या है फलाना। तो कोई भी उनको बराबर जवाब नहीं दे सकता था, और एक पता नहीं किसने कह दिया, मानसिंह साहब के पास जाओ, आपको सब मिल जाएगा। तो वो आए मेरे पास, तो मेरे को जितना भी मोइनुद्दौला के बारे में मालूम था मैं सब कहा। उनके जाने के बाद सोचा कि भाई कल मानसिंह मर जाएगा तो हैदराबाद क्रिकेट के बारे में कौन क्या बोलेगा। क्योंकि जो पुराने जितने भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे, ट्रॉफीज थी, और जो भी हैदराबाद क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन, हैदराबाद क्रिकेट से लागू थी, यहाँ तक कि रणजी ट्रॉफी के जो रेप्लिकास देते हैं जीतने पे, वो 2 होने चाहिए, वो है कि कुछ भी नहीं था। तो मतलब ये है कि भाई जो भी पावर में आ रहा है उसको हैदराबाद क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन से कोई दिलचस्पी नहीं है, उसका एजेंडा कुछ और ही है। तो वो सोच के जो है मैंने सोचा कि भाई मैं ये किताब लिखूं। किताब लिखने के बाद अब ये हुआ कि भाई टाइटल क्या होना चाहिए। आज आप दुनिया के कोई भी इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट में चले जाओ जी, उनके मेनू में हैदराबाद बिरयानी रहती। तो इसलिए वो मेरे को स्ट्राइक करके मैं फिर क्रिकेट बिरयानी करके किताब का नाम लिखा।
अभी हम आते हैं आपकी दूसरी किताब, एगनी एंड एक्सटेसी। ये नाम क्यों एगनी और एक्सटेसी? ऑब्वियसली मैंने किताब नहीं पढ़ी, ज़रूर पढ़ूंगा अब। तो 3 एगनीज और 3 एक्सटेसीज के बारे में बताइए। टॉप 3 एगनीज, टॉप 3 एक्सटेसीज। एगनीज फर्स्ट।
एगनीज ये था कि भाई 1975 में मैं हैदराबाद ब्लूज़ टीम को लेके वर्ल्ड टूर पे गया हुआ था। जब मैं HCA का जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी था, और मैंने 11 साल गुजार दिए थे जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी। मेरी एब्सेंस में कुछ लोग बड़े खिलाफ हो के अनशन बकवास करके मेरे को एक तरफ से धक्का दे के निकाल दिया था। तो वो बहुत ही डिसअपॉइंटिंग था। दूसरा 1991 में ये एक किस्म का वो डिसीजन था BCCI के बड़े लोगों का कि जब इंडियन टीम इंग्लैंड जाएगी तो मानसिंह मैनेजर होगा। वो मुझे नहीं मिला। और तीसरी बात मैं ये बोलूँगा कि भाई जो जिस हालत में आज हैदराबाद क्रिकेट है, that hurts me a lot.
Ecstasies.
Ecstasy, World Cup winning,
Of course.
playing for Hyderabad in the Ranji Trophy, and serving Hyderabad Cricket as Joint Secretary and Secretary.
सर ये इंटरव्यू लेते लेते मैं आपको एक नया टाइटल देता हूँ, हैदराबाद की चलती फिरती क्रिकेट की किताब। मान सर, मैं आपसे एक लास्ट सवाल पूछता हूँ जो थोड़ा लेट हुआ। आपका नाम मान कैसे पड़ा?
ऐसा है, हमारे जो दादा थे वो ये चाहते थे कि हर एक उनके बेटे या पोतों का नाम सिंह होना चाहिए, तो मेरा नाम मान सिंह रखा गया। जब मैं HSC एग्ज़ामिनेशन का फॉर्म भरवा रहा था हमारे टीचर से, तो उन्होंने मेरा नाम पूछा क्या है, मैंने कहा मान सिंह। वो जो बुलारम स्कूल उन दिनों में जो था वो एक टिपिकल अय्यर एंड आयंगार था, जो कि ये इनिशियल्स वगैरह में बहुत बिलीव करते थे। नहीं 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 नहीं, तुम्हारी फैमिली कहाँ से आती है? मैंने कहा छोटा गांव है पंजाब में, पूंडरी, वहाँ से आती है। तो बोले पी, बाप का नाम क्या है? राम सिंह, राम आर, PR मान सिंह करके उसने बना दिया। वो चलता रहा। फिर जब मैं इंग्लैंड गया तो लोग, अच्छा वो जब PR मानसिंह बनाया उसने, वो एक किस्म का ऐसा हो गया कि भाई HSC सर्टिफिकेट पे उसमें सब PR मानसिंह ही आ रहा था। जो मेरा सरनेम है अग्रवाल वो कट गया। तो इंग्लैंड गया तो हर कोई पूछता, सर व्हाट इज़ योर सरनेम? अब अग्रवाल तो है नहीं कहीं भी मेरा नाम,
सिंह बन।
तो मैं बोला कि भाई जो मान सिंह एक वर्ड था उसके 2 वर्ड्स कर दिए, मान और सिंह, तो सिंह मेरा सब सरनेम हो गया। उस तरह से मान रह गया, तो लोग मुझे बस मान से बुलाने लगे।
तो जेंटलमैन बिकेम मान। अभी मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ। मैंने इस इंटरव्यू के पहले पूरी 83 फिल्म फिर से देखी। मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था पंकज त्रिपाठी को देख के कि आपको देख रहा हूँ। इतना परफेक्शन, वो रोल कैसे एग्जीक्यूट हुआ? क्या आपने उनको कैसे गाइड किया, कोच किया?
उन्होंने मेरे से 2 बार कुछ मिले और हर एक मीटिंग में 2 घंटे या 3 घंटे था, तो मेरे को बोलते थे ज़रा पैदल चल के बताओ, से बात करके बताओ, वो करो। लेकिन जो उन्होंने मेरे को प्रोजेक्ट किया है उसके अंदर, मैं खुद हैरान हूँ, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो मेरी हैं और मैंने उन्हें नहीं बताई तो कर दी। तो इट्स अ बिग क्रेडिट टू पंकज त्रिपाठी फॉर दैट रोल, एंड एज मच एज रणवीर सिंह रोल फॉर कपिल देव। तो इनको जो है बेस्ट एक्टर, सपोर्टिंग एक्टर मिला, तो आई एम नॉट सरप्राइज्ड।
So viewers, much as I would not like to stop this, I think we are running out of time. So if I have to sum up the hero of Mission Impossible played by Tom Cruise to the hero of the 1983 World Cup, I think it's clearly a tie between Man Saab and Kapil Dev. Thank you. And sir, congratulations. I had a wonderful time. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं एक ही आपका लास्ट रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि जो क्रिकेटर्स अभी जो बडिंग यंगस्टर्स हैं, हु ब्रीथ क्रिकेट, हु स्लीप क्रिकेट, उनका सपना होता है कि वो भी एक कपिल देव बने, विराट कोहली बने। आई मीन इवन हैदराबाद हैज़ प्रोड्यूस सच एक्सेलेंट क्रिकेटर्स। अभी मोहम्मद सिराज इज़ प्लेइंग फॉर द हैदराबाद टीम। उनके लिए क्या मैसेज है आपका?
एक चीज़ बड़ी डिसअपॉइंटिंग है कि जो यंगस्टर्स हैं, टैलेंटेड हो या ना हो, उसके लिए मैं उनके पेरेंट्स को ब्लेम करता हूँ। इसलिए कि जहाँ पे किसी फैमिली में लड़का पैदा हुआ तो वो पोटेंशियल सचिन तेंदुलकर है, उसको वहाँ बनाने के लिए या सब कुछ करने के लिए उनके बाबा जो है कुछ भी करेंगे। कुछ भी करेंगे, राइट या रॉन्ग थिंग जो कुछ भी है। अब उन्हें बनता नहीं बनता वो तो ऊपर वाले के हाथ में, कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता। तो जब वो उसका अटेंशन है या उसके ऊपर ये इम्प्रेस किया जा रहा है कि तेरे को जो है खेलना है तो आईपीएल खेलना है, ताकि तू 17-18 साल की उम्र में करोड़पति बन जाए। तो एक तरह से आईपीएल को मैं कहता हूँ कि इट्स अ नेसेसरी ईवल। नेसेसरी ईवल इन द सेंस कि भाई आईपीएल से जो पैसा जमा होता है वो क्रिकेटर्स और क्रिकेट के ऊपर खर्च होता है। अगर आईपीएल ना हो तो उतना पैसा नहीं होता। लेकिन क्रिकेट वाइज इट्स नॉट क्रिकेट। तो आज के बच्चों में खास करके पेरेंट्स से मेरी ये रिक्वेस्ट है, उनको ये कहा जाए कि तुम इंडिया को खेलने का एम्बिशन रखो। ये कलर आसानी से नहीं मिलता, ये कलर को अर्न किया जाता है जी। तो बच्चों में ये डालना है कि भाई यू हैव टू प्ले फॉर इंडिया, और इंडिया को खेलने के साथ अपनी पढ़ाई भी करो। एक टाइम था इंडिया के 11 प्लेयर में से सिर्फ एक नॉन ग्रेजुएट था, 10 ग्रेजुएट्स थे। और वो आइंदा चल के अपने जो जहाँ भी उनकी नौकरी थी, दे रिटायर लाइक बिग ऑफिसर्स। और आज की तारीख में मैं समझता हूँ जो ये अभी जो एशिया कप भी खेल रही है, आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स एनीबडी अ ग्रेजुएट, और आई वांट टू बी proved wrong.
Thank you, Mansab.
Thank
it was
you.
great having you here.
It was a pleasure to be here, and I wish all the Hyderabadis all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Very good husband, very good father. One thing is always there, that he had never said no to me for anything. Whatever I have ever asked, he has never said no. That was a very big thing, and very supportive. Sometimes I used to feel कि बात नहीं करते हैं इतनी, so मेरे को ही ज़्यादा बात करनी पड़ती थी हमेशा ही। So ठीक है, that is also a quality. And in his cricket circle, he is very well known. And when the Indian team won '83 World Cup, it changed from there. It changed, and people started taking Indian team also. You know, they started recognizing, yes, there is a talent in the Indian team. Otherwise, before that, Indian team was always, उसको कोई importance ही नहीं देता था. He is a very good person. As a person also, he is very, very gentle and did his best under his circumstances, what he could do for his children. I love him.
PR Mansingh, man to all his friends. I am privileged to address him as Dad. Dad is my biggest role model, my best friend. To just tell a little bit about how our relationship grew, the father-son relationship grew over the years. You see, he's been a person who has always had a very quiet nature, a man of very few words. But he is emotional like any other human being. As kids, we were definitely scared of him, like all children are scared of their fathers. But then over the years, as I grew up and by the time I'd gone into college, our relationship transcended from a parent-child to adult. And over the years, it became more like friends. He has always been there whenever I've needed him, though as kids we really did not get too much of an opportunity to spend time with him on a regular basis because of his cricket commitments. He used to travel a lot, but always there was an occasion when the family would go on a holiday, and during those holidays he would more than make up for the time that he could not spend with us otherwise. He also had a great influence on my way of thinking, on the way I started, understanding things. Because of his association with cricket, even my passion for the game grew over the years. And I must say one thing, he never ever promoted me indiscriminately, nor did I ever expect that he would, due to his position, I will be able to take advantage and grow up in my cricketing career. I had to struggle, in fact, much harder than others to prove a point. Nevertheless, that was always in my favor because it built up that fighting spirit in me. I have played the best of cricket that I possibly could thanks to him. After I finished my studies, when I joined the business, I did commit some mistakes during the initial part of my business career, but he was never harsh with me. He always made it a point to tell me to learn a lesson out of it, and that is what really built up that confidence and trust in him. And I'm really grateful for the way he has molded my thinking, and similarly even I try to build up that confidence and trust in my children so that they also grow up to be good human beings. I wish my father the best of health and happiness.
Adab, I am Ajmal Asad, and I have been associated with Mr. Mansingh Saab since my childhood. He happens to be my father's classmate, and he looked very strict when we used to see him in the childhood. बट ऐसा हुआ कि 1988 में जब एक टूर गया था मैं मान साहब के साथ, ऑस्ट्रेलिया टूर, जब हैदराबाद ब्लूज़ की टीम गई थी, जब पता चला कि मान साहब कितने हंसमुख और कितने खुशमिजाज है और कितने दरिया दिल है, उस टूर पे सो जिस तरीके से हंसी मजाक करे, उस टूर से जिस तरीके से हमारे साथ खेले और हमारे साथ सो साथ मिल के चले, वी केम टू नो दैट मान सिंह इज़ नॉट अ वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट पर्सन. ही इज़ डेफिनेटली अ डिसिप्लिन्ड पर्सन बट अ वेरी लार्ज हार्टेड पर्सन. हमारा एसोसिएशन इनके फैमिली के साथ है कि लोग कहते हैं कि भाई ये मान सिंह का दूसरा बेटा है. He is the person who got me into the Hyderabad Cricket Association, and he has encouraged me, and he has always told me to how to be disciplined and how to be passionate about cricket. That is what we got from him, and we always try to follow that. I would like to wish him all the best for his future, and I think Maan Uncle, Maan Saab is the best cricket administrator I have ever seen in the whole of India. कि जो legacy है उसको हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे.
I think I have no words to talk about Mansingh sir. I mean, he's too big a person for me to even say something about him, but I would consider this as a huge honor to be saying a few words about him. I remember my under 16, under 15 days in Gymkhana, where he used to enter the ground and we used to run away, just scared of him, because he was the secretary of the Hyderabad Cricket Association, and he commanded that respect from everyone around because he was doing so much good for the young athletes during those days, and I was one of the beneficiary of his benevolence, so I think he helped me immensely during the tough times in my life when I lost my father, and he showed me the path. He guided me through my career throughout. So obviously he's one of my mentors, one of the father figures in my life to whom I always look up to. And he was very proud when I played my Ranji Trophy for 10-11 years, and eventually I went on to become coach of the Indian cricket team. He's someone who always had that gleam in his eyes when I did well. So that is a quality of which I could see from the outside. The things I learned from him, well, there are so many good things to learn from that man. I think integrity is something which I always saw in him right from a childhood, and I integrated that in my life. Being meticulous, well planned, excellent communication, and articulate. These are some of the words I would associate with Sir, and these are some of the qualities which I would like to imbibe in my daily lifestyle, what I learned from him. So, in the end, all I would like to say is Mansingh Sir is kind of a father figure and a mentor to me, to whom I would always look up to.
So, whether I have grown up in Hyderabad or Hyderabad has grown up on me, क्या फर्क पड़ता है यार? After all, अपन हैदराबादी. Thank you.